Nigeria's former vice president and presidential candidate of the ADC, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, declared that his plan to restore the current fuel subsidy is aimed at easing the financial burden on ordinary Nigerians rather than enriching those in government. He emphasized that subsidy funds should serve the people by reducing living costs, not line the pockets of political elites, promising a transparent approach that prioritizes citizens' welfare over patronage. Ooh. Okay, they have been tweets as well of him.
You know what made this statement really hit home for me was that he said one of my aides put up a statement.
Yeah.
Probably, and Joe, you're a communicator, a professional communicator. Are you allowed to do that on behalf of your principal? You think he wasn't, you assume for him, and then you go ahead to make a statement. Now he had to reverse it. Said, look, one of my aides did this, and I stand by my statement. Owning it 100%.
I think at that point, it also has to do with understanding deeply what your principal had said.
And getting clarification.
So that everything, but I found out later on, especially I think yesterday night, it was actually in an interview. It was a TV interview. And Benga, our job. We're able to squeeze water out of a rock when we decide that this is the question, we need answers to this question. So when it was asked, he later on said, okay, that after it's been removed, he will start bringing it back little by little. The former Bible say, you know that means.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Back. But then again, the argument started on X with this conversation we're having, and I think we should throw it out there to Nigerians who are watching. Do you think we are in a better place since subsidy has been removed? That's the question.
Governors have more money, but do you have more money?
Everyone is saying, so they went
individually
online and they said governors have more money, roads, they were highlighting some of the benefits. And I did see pushback from Nigerians. And Nigerians said, okay, hold on. Let's now compare you to the former late President Muhammadu Buhari. And I so much loved the analysis. I was thrilled yesterday. And they said the former late president was paying subsidies, okay? And yet, if you look at everything that Nigeria had, regardless.
The railway projects.
The railway project was
roads.
He was able to do roads. He was able to carry on a lot of works, of course, under the former minister who now is a vice presidential candidate to Rotimi Amechi. He was able, they listed out his accomplishments, and they were a lot. And they said, so, can you tell us if, while still paying subsidy, you're able to achieve all of this, and food and every other thing was kept at the barest minimum? Why are you telling us that you've taken out subsidy and all the things that were achieved now seems like, oh, it's heavenly? The pushback now came from the other side and said, okay, but take a look at it. You're no longer in queues. You're not queuing
Salaries
to buy fuel.
have been paid.
People said, okay.
And then the queues under Buhari's government, it wasn't a lot. I can remember one very bad one in my memory. I don't know if my memory fails me, but it wasn't like a consistent thing that you had to
towards the end of his administration,
yes,
so they have really bad queues.
But it wasn't like,
it was bad.
It was really bad.
8 years of queuing.
It was really bad. Towards the end of his administration.
I remember.
Once you hear like this, everybody's
heart,
running to the petrol station. Your heart will be caught palpitating. No, it was really bad at that point.
But that's a subsidy conversation. But Alhaji Atiku Abubakar also, in an interview, in his remarks, he also made a statement, which I think we should see the video. It gives us more context to what he said, and then the president now reacted as well to what he said.
But before we go back to look at that tweet or what was said by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in response to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, you must recall that in 2023, when we had the three biggest presidential candidates in the persons of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and His Excellency Peter Obi, all three of them agreed that they were going to remove fuel subsidy. So many have argued that what he's done is political eye service because election is just 5 months away. Campaign season officially began last week, and it would sound like that is more electoral speak to garner favor from the Nigerian electorate that have seen that fuel subsidy may not have actually improved the quality of life of Nigerians. So it may just be political eye service is what they have termed it as. It's why persons like the Minister of the FCT would say he's a voodoo economist. But the question is, what really will change if he decides to reinstate fuel subsidy? Or is it a, like he says, maybe a gradual phasing out of fuel subsidy as opposed to doing it one-off? So these are the angles to possibly look at it from. But there was a jab that was thrown at Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as well. Let's take the tweet and look at what the president had to say in response.
I saw one of my opponents now say he will go back to subsidy. I read it. That is demonstration of a serious ignorance on governance and economy. Before I came here, 27 states are unable to pay salaries. Not to even talk of pensioners, salary of workers. In your state, I know a man that raised, whose nickname.
Okay, the president reacting to, in short, I think the presidency has been rattled ever since Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
And that's the power of opposition.
And I wondered why the
Yeah.
presidency is worried about that statement. They've been on their heels ever since he made that statement. That listen,
seems very sensitive.
It's a clear cut. And he said, he went further to say, the gains of removing subsidy only benefits those at the top, the presidency, and he made mention, and his people. But it doesn't benefit the average Nigerian. And like I said, when I dug deeper yesterday, I did see a cross-section of Nigerians coming up to say, we agree with you in a way and manner that showed that they are saying, if truly you've removed subsidies, why is life so hard? Why is it harder? By the way, let me just mention to Nigerians, Dangote has also increased his fuel price on the gantry.
I say when...
It's now 1,200.
When David said, then go
the prices will go up. So then again, you see all of this. So Nigerians are now asking, okay, what are we now gaining from this entirety of subsidy is gone, governors now have more money, the roads and constructions are ongoing. 4 days, Nigerians were suffering.
What we've gained is they say the macro. They've done really well with the macro.
And that
there's stability when it comes to the economy. But the ordinary people, the micro is where the issue is. And it's the micro that affects the majority of Nigerians.
For those who wonder what the explanation of the government is every time you bring up this argument, the explanation is that what we have was an artificial success in some measure, and that what the government was doing was using money and subsidy to cover the real situation.
So we're living fake life.
We're living fake life, exactly. And sooner than later, it was going to crumble. And then what we're experiencing now would be a child's play compared to what we would have experienced then. Again, we say that this argument will hold water if these cuts and this suffering was felt across board. But Nigerians don't seem to believe that everyone and every member of a political class is experiencing this cuts. Because why are the everyday citizens having to bear the brunt of a lavish, very lavish government? Every other day now, it's become a normal thing for us to find out one fake agency that's been sponsored that has salaries being paid. They're talking about ghost workers. So where is all that money going into? Ask your governors, ask your local government chairman questions.
CNG
They're getting more money. What are they using the money to do? How are they using to make your life better?
Where are the CNG bosses?
Yes.
They're not existing.
I mean, we seem to have moved on from that.
They're not existing.
The way you see downfalls and BRTs, that's the way you should be seeing CNG buses
we have
across the country.
So how many CNG buses we have in all these states?
I'm trying not to be absolute. I'm just saying, like, okay, they're not like...
That CNG conversation, we're going to have it specially. Because
and then, you know... What,
I've been talking to a few persons, even those who converted are now regretting. They said if they had known.
So we took... What we did was Nigeria underwent a major surgical operation. And sometimes even the doctors will advise you, finish this one first before you do this. Mm-hmm. The floating of the naira and subsidy is gone at the same time. I mean... it would have ripple effects. And Nigerians, let me not lie, we've been very resilient and we've taken it and people have felt, look, we've sacrificed enough. But 3 years down the line, where are the gains now? We did sacrifice, we tightened our belt. Where are the gains? And that's why people are having this conversation that, was it really worth it? Because Nigerians, the statistics and the data speaks for themselves. They are poorer. Today, more people have been added into the poverty.
So that's part of the things that were highlighted here, that was highlighted yesterday. That, okay, fine. During the late President Muhammadu Buhari's time, the poverty level ratio was not like this. So you are saying that you remove subsidy. Poverty ratio should be far better.
And what pushed people into that poverty bracket? The policies of the government. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, let's see, President. Let's see from
Alhaji tweet. But just to mention, we're already streaming live on YouTube. Yeah. If you'd like to react to the story and share your thoughts, News Central TV Live is where we're streaming on YouTube. Please head on to drop a comment there. Joe, did you say President Atiku? Has he officially won the election?
No,
they say it's prophetic.
Former vice president. Please, let's see what
let's
he said.
Know if you're prophesying.
Let's see what he said. Let's see. Sometimes these names are a bit...
It's much. It's quite much.
To say that, one of my press aides had contradicted me in my policy statement as far as subsidy is concerned. I want to repeat categorically that what I said, I will return subsidy, I will. And Nigeria is rich enough to look after the welfare of its citizens. Therefore, let it be clearly stated that he was not speaking on my own authority, because the removal of subsidy has driven more Nigerians into poverty than at any other time in the history of this country. And the fundamental responsibility of the government is the welfare of the citizens. Two, I will make sure we secure this country. We are competing with thieves. They stole the election. Now they have stolen the economy. They have stolen everything.
Very interesting conversation there. I said it, like Menga, you said, with his full chest.
Yes,
so now the war
has
started. The opposition says, I am going to bring it back, whether they like it or not.
One of the
opposition says, I'll bring it back. The other opposition, Mr. Peter Grigobi, says, I will not bring it back. I will not.
Why do I believe that Obi said he'll bring it back?
No, Obi said he wouldn't.
No, he said
he stood firm. He said he's not going to bring it back. That the issue is not actually in the removal of the subsidy, is the use of the profits that come from the subsidy. That's the problem. That it's not being used appropriately.
Mr. Duke said that we could actually sell petrol for 400. I think he aligned more with Atiku. That's the People's Redemption Party presidential candidate, former governor of Cross River State.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly before we move to our next story, which is very interesting.
Okay, let me take comments on YouTube before we head on. Theophilus Ijomas, good morning to our YouTube audience. Good morning, Moke Chukwemeka. Good morning, everyone. Theophilus Ijomas says, I align with Peter Obi's idea of removing subsidy, but channeling the proceeds to infrastructural development and healthcare. Osa says, is the president seriously talking about sanity? When GEG was ready to remove it, what happened to sanity then? Governors are still owing pensioners their salaries. Governors now have more money, yet they are still borrowing heavily. We need subsidies in other areas such as transportation and electricity. We didn't ask the president to give the money to the governors or local government chairmen, or local government areas. So why should we be asking them to account for it? Femi Olagunju says, actually, the present administration has really pumped money for these governors and no good infrastructure in the country. Jason says, were there no governors, chairmen, senators, houses of reps members? When Tinubu was attacking GEG, the box stops at his table. Funsho Nifade says, Morning, Olive, Joe and Gbenga. The whole subsidy is the biggest scam ever. Former Governor Donald Duke attested to this subsidy issue in a recent interview. The APC have been rather rattled by Atiku's statement. Moki Atiku Abubakar says, the one who has wrecked people's lives is talking about not knowing about governance. And Michael Zeus says, the removal of subsidy by Tinubu is scam. What exactly did he spend 11 trillion naira on as energy security? The money from subsidy removal was wasted by federal government and many state governors. No more subsidy. And Jacob Nabugo says, the poor are sacrificing so that politicians can enjoy more. And Nathan Emmanuel says, the governors don't have more money now. Let's check it on dollar value. Can we use that argument that they don't have more money?
Oh,
now?
yes, because if you look at the nominal
give them 1 million
value
last
then,
time and then 1 million
you
now.
factor in inflation, it's more of the same, yeah.
Well,
You can argue that, but on paper, they have more money.
There's a lot to look into, but then again, there's also another video that surfaced yesterday. People are saying if subsidy has been removed, then Nigerians should be living at least a better life compared to the previous. And the statement made by the former late president that when he leaves office, we're going to miss him. People are now bringing it back and say, truly we miss the heydays. But this video was also making the rounds of current vice president sharing rice.
all right.
Is rice an economic strategy?
Yes, in Liberia.
Eh?
Yes, rice is an economic language. It's a political language in Liberia.
Liberia.
Yes.
Is this Breakfast Central Liberia or Breakfast Central?
Maybe we are now trying to pick a thing or two.
Okay.
Because I really don't understand. I mean, this government has a thing with rice.
I think now divided.
I mean, governors goes
I think they've
beyond
added tomato.
the sharing of rice.
There's a pack. No, there's tomato now added. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, drop your comments. Let's know what you think. I think let's move to our next story this morning, a wake-up conversation.
And one of the reasons why we've seen the proliferation of rice sharing is as a result of those policies that squeezed and tightened the belt of Nigerians, because there are more people into widespread poverty, but you can teach a man how to fish. You can't give him fish every day. How sustainable is this? When this rice finishes, what are they going to? And you're creating a dependency culture.
Speaking about policies that make life difficult, I just want to chip this in, that I've been seeing the news about the official ban of private ride-hailing apps in the airport by the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. That right now, if you want to take a taxi from the airport here in Lagos, Nigeria, you cannot request any of the private apps you typically would use to request a taxi. You have to use the airport taxi. And now, a certain man, I've forgotten his name now, he's a tourist, he's American but married to Nigerian, Authentic Traveling, I think that's his social media handle. He did an experiment, tried to take a taxi from Ikeja, from the airport in Ikeja to Radisson Hotel in Ikeja. And what would typically cost 8,000 naira
or less
now cost 30,000 naira.
I mean, this is a journey of max 10 minutes.
Let's even add traffic. That's about 15, 20 minutes.
I mean,
what's the logic behind that?
I really don't understand. And, you know, you make policies, you inconvenience Nigerians, there's an uproar, you reverse it. The same airport authority started this cashless decision that many people missed their flights in Abuja and Lagos. It was a mess. They didn't troubleshoot it. They didn't think about the problems. And then this just smirks of greed and capitalism.
Absolutely.
It's money for the boys. Everywhere in the world, you have options.
Yes.
I mean, a majority of the airports across the world.
And even how interesting, I was in Vietnam. I didn't know anybody there. I didn't use a travel company, so everything was by myself. I used one of the ride-hailing apps to order a taxi. They didn't speak English, but immediately I did. It was translating on the go, so that the person could read in their language, and I could read in their language. The world is moving. Imagine somebody coming in
I used to go
from another
MM2
country
with my family because I live around on Sundays to have a drink, to have a drink or something, and just park at the car park. Sometimes I do some shopping at the mall at the ground level. I can't do that anymore because of parking. the parking fee, and this is the same Nigerians that are going through all of this, and you want to just kill them. It's ridiculous. 30,000 in Ikeja. So imagine how much you pay if you're going to VI.
Anytime I have to travel
and
now,
then
if I don't have a car and driver, I'll have to be begging my friends.
People options. It's really unfair.
Whenever I touch down the airport, two things. Either I have, just like you mentioned, I have it planned out that please come and pick me. I'd rather give you, I'd rather give you the 20K or this, because from the airport to where I live, it's 30,000 naira. And that's
on a normal day.
That was then.
Now you pay 100K.
And then in the past, you could park overnight if you're going to Abuja for
Now the thing is ridiculous.
2 days. You can't even afford to do it.
One day my driver came to wait for me for like 2 hours and paid 2 or 3 hours, I can't remember, and paid 11,000.
You pay all this
parking
fees,
space.
And then the value for service is not like, wow, the park is now air conditioned, this pristine, everything is, you have elevators, you have everything. It's not worth it, and it's just pure wickedness.
People should consider us. It's just not fair. I hope that FAN, reconsiders this. I understand their need to make provision for the drivers within the airport, but the truth is, can Nigerians' current reality, the reality of Nigerians, can we afford to be able to pay 30K from Ikeja to Ikeja? It just doesn't make sense.
Let's move on to our next story. Amnesty International Nigeria has condemned a video you're about to see now. Now, this video reiterates what we always talk about, politics of violence. Well, chairman of Kuje Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory, not in another state, the FCT, Samuel Danjuma Shekwolo, over a statement he made in which he clearly threatened to force residents out of the council if they refuse to support or vote for the ruling All Progressives Congress in the 2027 elections. Take a look at the video.
I have said in my area council, it's either you're doing APC or leave the area council. I'm not arguing with you. With confidence, I'm saying it. You know why? I cannot have minister and president doing for us what they are doing. Then on the day of election, you now come and say you want to match me. I will not. Is either you are with us or you
are. So here we go again.
What's wrong with that video?
We're back at it again. Just
what's
before.
Wrong with that video?
Sorry?
What's wrong with the video?
What's wrong with the video?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
I mean, the video is okay. If a sitting senator can also make bold threats against people of opposition political parties,
kill people.
And tell you to kill people if you don't vote his party.
Example.
I mean, he has leadership by example. There's nothing wrong in what that man did. And Amnesty International, in fact, you applaud him for showing his true color before 2027.
Yeah, he said anybody, if you, and you remember the Osun State just 2 weeks ago, said anywhere you see them, unalive them. And this, today marks 2 weeks. Yes.
I say,
time is up.
I think we are.
Thank you.
We are. This thing we do like we do you like a dream. This is just the first of many. As
but he has apologized.
Apologized.
No.
Apologized. Very dark man apologized.
Benga.
If you're a celebrity and you apologize, you are forgiven.
I'm happy we have a constitution. And I'm happy that by right, by virtue, you are a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And Nigeria is not a lawless country.
Do we agree here that we can make any statement and all we need to do is just say, I'm sorry?
See, Joe, if people can actually kidnap people,
because that's what it's looking like.
Can I say something? People kidnap and kill people, and they say they are sorry. And we invite them back into the society, de-radicalize them, give them the same access to amenities that those who have had their families killed and kidnapped have.
Don't have.
I mean,
don't even have.
Yeah, it's basically a culture now. It's becoming a culture. Do nonsense, ask for mercy.
Because you're not setting examples. There's no consequences. There are no consequences for people's behavior.
This is the Atiku Pro Max.
If Senator Fadaosi was arrested, I don't think this young man in Kuje would be bold enough to make this sort of statement in the full glare of cameras.
Maybe we need to remind people that people's, I mean, I'm apolitical, we're neutral from this point, but people's decision is a basic human right, and it's a civic duty. I have the choice. Don't force it down people's throats.
Even in your family, your father can't tell you who to vote for.
Just like I can't tell my son to support Chelsea. I can't force him.
Absolutely.
You can't force him. So everyone, this is reeking of totalitarianism. It's a case of it's my way or it's no other way. And people are not robots. They have freedom to choose what they want to choose. You're talking to people
do they
who
even
pay
remember
taxes.
we're in a democracy?
I really don't understand.
And you respect people's choices, and it's about ideas and selling, okay, I'm going to do better than what the opposition is saying. They're just making noise. Let's debate. Let's talk ideas, not threats. Now you don't even want a fair contest. You are outrightly saying, look,
it's
my way or the highway.
The president has said it's not a do or die. But the president is not able to put a leash on its members who are threatening violence and saying, listen,
not
if
even
you
the
don't
president,
do this,
the senior leadership, the upper echelon of the party should really distance themselves from this sort of individuals, because they are dragging the reputation of the party. You're meant to be progressives, and you have individuals like this.
Just to finally add to what Benga has said, in the sense that the APC has a responsibility. You're the party in power. You're the ruling party. The APC has a responsibility to dissociate itself from some of the statements and actions that have been made. APC has been on the fire. It's been back-to-back. More recently is the establishment of Presidential Campaign Council and some of the names that made it to that list. So, being that you are the party in power, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. If you're going to, as you go towards 2027 elections, so that people don't keep throwing debts and pota on you, like this person, like Senator Francis Fadaunsi, and the many other people, Oluomo at the time, and all these people who come out to make tribalist, religious and ethnicist statements that divide us further along religious, tribal, and ethnic lines, and even now political party lines. It's okay for us to believe in different things, to have different political parties or different candidates that we're supporting. What is not okay is to then have it morph into bullying and intimidation. That is not okay.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly. Let's take just a few tweets. Very interesting tweets, I must say, that also border on the reactions to this. Mokweze says, this is why the so-called peace accord is useless. Everybody can see the threats coming in from the APC stalwart. 2027, Peter Obi gets set. It's do or die. The APC are prepared to unleash violence. Can you imagine? So you see people are trying to do fire for fire now. That's what we're seeing. Another one. The same tactics MC Olomo used in Lagos 2023. Now Abuja people are going to blame Sha if one from nowhere come threaten una for una land. I expect outrage of Abuja residents and citizens over this. Amnesty International, but why una no get any power? Since over 12 years, all talk to no do. All talk, no do.
All right, let me take a few comments on YouTube. We have here, Michael Zu says, I blame Kuje residents for not storming his office this morning to throw him out of the place. It's obvious that he was installed, but he didn't win election. What APC is bringing in 2027 will backfire. Theophilus Danjuma says, APC is a threat to our national existence. This is the mindset that a number of people are having now because of repeated actions like this that have no consequences. He says they are anathema. Nigerians reject this evil called... Anyway, Nathan Emmanuel said this is the APC campaign slogan since 2022 and no consequences. And we will consider that. Thank you. Marcus McCain says that chairman of Kuje Area Council chairman should be in Kuje prison right now. This is becoming something else. So this APC government will definitely... Sorry, I can't read that one. Ikechukwu says, I agree with Olive. There's nothing wrong with the statement from the local government chairman. After all, the so-called president said all is fair in politics. Nigerians, equip yourself, defend your votes. Mokinye Chukwuemeka says, does the APC have any iota of reputation to protect? And Frank Obute says, the Bible says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Oh, they said all is fair in politics. One more comment. Uni says, the Kuje council man will say it's AI. Ripple effect of Tinubu's actions in 2023. Himself would be shocked by now by how brazen and rotten his squads are.
It's AI.
You know, Dolly Parton passed yesterday. May her soul rest in peace. And what we've seen Senator Fadaunsi do is that he has unleashed a coat of many colors.
That his mama made for him.
Many people are following through and acting in the way he did, which is a sad reality of our times.
Absolutely. I mean, just as Bing has mentioned, we hold a candle for everyone who's mourning, and we say everyone because we know it's not just her family. Around the world, tributes have been pouring in for the life of Dolly Parton. She lived a good life. That is a way to live life. She lived 80 years of impact. I hope our politicians can learn a lesson or two.